let's do some hair cutting. My hair has gotten way too long and it's bugging me, and I love to teach my clients. Get this a little bit closer so you can see my hair. I love to teach my clients, and you, that's why I'm here, is to teach you. Anybody can cut hair, anybody can color hair. You need a license to charge. That's it. But hair is very scientific. If you follow the science, I promise you, you will have the hair you want. The biggest thing about hair is precision. Everyone thinks that it's critical that we give you a precise haircut, precision haircut. And the truth is, haircuts are not precise, because if we make them perfect, people have different density issues. They have curl patterns, cowlicks, and growth patterns. And those things have to be accounted for when we cut hair. So then you're probably thinking, well, that sounds kind of difficult, Julie. It really isn't, because there's only two haircuts. You're either blunt, straight across with no layers, straight across bangs, straight across on the bottom, or you have layering. Both of those decisions, of course, depend on the client, what they want. And the next thing is the hair type. That decides on your haircut. So if you are a curly-haired person, an African-American person, a Puerto Rican, but you wear your hair straight, guess what? This is your haircut. The only thing that changes is length. If I were a soccer mom haircut, I call it, where it's real short here and then just has a little bit of length on top, that haircut is the same haircut I have. The only difference is all this is cut off. Now my haircut, and would I be able to do that haircut? I probably would not try to do that haircut, only because for me, it's really hard to see the back, and to be precise or to make it look well blended, because that's what we're doing in hair cutting, is just making it look blended or somewhat accurate, somewhat precision, somewhat even, is to be able to see. And I can't see back there, but trust me, there are people out there, I know them. One of my friends, her name is Kendra, and she's been cutting her hair for years. She's really good at it. My friend Sean can cut her own hair. My friend Helen could cut her own hair. And they were all short cuts. So not saying you can't do it, saying those haircuts are a little bit harder to do yourself. But everybody knows somebody can do it. So today, I want to take my hair shorter. And I purposely wore a white shirt, because that's another thing that's really important, is to be able to see your haircut. Make sure that if you have dark hair, you're not wearing a dark shirt. It's going to be very hard for you to see what areas you need to cut and what areas you don't. When you cut your hair, it needs to be dry and styled. If you're a curly-haired person and you wear your hair curly, then you're going to be cutting your hair curly, and I will do a curly haircut, but that's not what this is today. But if you're a curly-haired person and you wear your hair straight, this is how you should cut your hair. Because when you wear it straight, you're going to see all the problems with the way we cut your hair wet and curly, which means it's super inaccurate. Because it's very hard to correctly pull out curly hair and cut the density correctly. The length will do okay, but the layering, not so much. All right, today we're focused on cutting some long hair shorter. There are not 40 different haircuts. I wish there were, but there's not. So I just want you to be comfortable with the fact that we're really all wearing the same haircut, basically. But we have different hair types, and that is what makes our hair look so different. The color and the density and the curl patterns. My hair's gotten really long, and I also am gonna show you how my hair has not been precision. Never has been, especially because I do cut it myself. I understand that there will be times when I'm not going to do as good of a job cutting it. I'm going to show you right now. Nobody has ever said, Julie, it's a little crooked on the back, you got a point, ever. In fact, I get compliments on my hair on a daily basis. So when I turn around, I hope I'm going to be in the right place. Oh, maybe my mirror will help. Oh, yes. Okay, so you can see this point right there. Okay, because this is the number one place where when you're cutting your own hair, you will leave this spot a little longer because it's the hair that's underneath. And so I'll show you how to correct that. But what I want to show you is that last time I cut my hair, I was too lazy and I left it and nobody noticed. Okay, so I just tell you that so you can understand accuracy is not that critical. This haircut is also you can do for your daughters. Love to teach my mamas how to cut your daughter's hair. You don't need to spend the time and the money to go into the salon. Don't get me wrong, I owned a salon for many, many, many years. My salon owners, you need to understand there's a market for everything. I'm not taking away anything from the industry. I was super successful sending home color kits to people so they could touch up their own hair every 3 to 4 weeks, but they still came back to me. Just like if I had a hairstylist that lived around me, I would have her cut my hair. I won't cut my own hair. But I don't have a friend that lives by me that is a hairstylist, so I cut my own hair. You might live out in the boonies, or maybe money is an issue and you have a tight budget. Here's a great way to save some money. You can absolutely cut your own hair, and you can absolutely cut your daughter's hair. When you're cutting your daughter's hair, the number one thing in your own hair is the back. I'm going to turn to the side. If you've ever been to a stylist, we always tell you, and if they don't tell you, you're leaving the salon with a crooked haircut. When we cut the back, the chin has to go down. When we do that and we cut the bottom, that takes care of that little underneath spot that I showed you. So what happened was last time when I cut my own hair, I wasn't paying attention to that. The other thing, when you cut your own hair and when you cut your daughter's hair, you don't bring the hair, let me make sure, yep, good. You don't bring the hair out and cut it. You're automatically layering it. Your hands are to be flat against your back when you cut that hair, because as soon as you lift it up, you're layering it, okay? Super simple tips. Chin down when you cut the back. Keep your hand flat against the back. That's how you keep it from being all jaggedy on the bottom. All right. What I'm doing today is I want to cut some length, but it doesn't matter. If you just wanted to trim your hair, you're going to do the exact same thing. The only difference is you would just be trimming a little bit. But I want to take some length off, so I'm going to take some length off today. When and if you decide to cut your own hair, I want you to invest in a decent pair of shears. Again, not necessary to spend thousands and thousands of dollars. We as stylists spend $500 to $1,000 for our shears. You don't need to do that. But maybe $40 or $50 of a decent pair off of Amazon or go down to Sally's, it would be worth it compared to your kitchen shears or something like that. You're looking for a sharp blade. So think about a chef. It's hard to cut vegetables and things with a bad knife. So that's kind of the same thing with your scissors. And then a decent comb. Again, is going to depend on density. If you have a truckload of hair, I want you to use the bigger end. If you have fine hair, use the other end. I almost always use the bigger end because I just want the hair to glide easily through the hair. Why do I cut hair dry versus wet? I need everybody to know this one. The number one reason why we cut hair wet is because that's what we were taught in beauty school. It's one of the worst ways we can cut hair. If my client has curly hair and always wears her hair curly, I will cut it wet because I need to cut it in the shape that she's wearing it. Everybody else gets their hair cut dry. Several reasons. Number one, the styling. You cannot see how the hair lays and how the hair falls if it's wet. If you have a cowlick that pops up, it's going to be laying down while it's wet. Hair direction. As much as I would love to be a middle part person, look how it would change my hair color. My hair will never, ever, ever allow me to do that because I have a hair growth that my hair grows this way. When we cut hair, we need to cut it according to how your hair lays, grows, and falls and is styled. In this situation, I always take the time to smooth out my hair because my hair is wonky. So if you've got some weird waves, take them out and make it nice and smooth. Just enough so you can get the comb through the hair. All right, let's get started. I'm gonna go down the middle. And already I can see that area that I didn't. So when we cut hair, you could see how this goes up and this goes straight across right there. That's that hair that was hanging down. I left it, so you can even see it from before. I want to take some length off. If you have really thick hair, you might feel like there's a big wonk of hair here. You're like, Julie, how would I ever cut through that? I do not. So what I would want you to do is just section up your hair. You don't need to do, there's those stylists that take 40,000 sections. It's unnecessary. You don't need to do that. Just take up part of your hair and pin it up so that there's less hair down here. Now, I am not one of those people. I do not have a truckload of hair, and therefore, I cannot have a lot of layers. You know how they have the haircuts where you just have a ton of layers in here? I can't do that because I will be left with no hair down here. In contrast, you people with a truckload of hair, that's a great haircut for you because it will get rid of so much of that bulk that you hate down here. All right, I'm not those people. So we're just gonna get in here and we're gonna go, oh, it's a little too much hair. My fingers are not that strong. Oh, real quick, I'm gonna teach you how to palm your shears because that's important. Take a couple minutes to learn, it's not that difficult. Most people think to cut hair with these two fingers. The problem with that is that you can't hold on to the comb at the same time. We call it palming your scissors. So the third finger goes in there and then you're gonna cut like this, and that allows me to pop my thumb out and hold on to my comb. So I can comb, hold on to my comb, and I can cut. Come back. So that way I'm not having to back and forth, all right? Just take a couple minutes, sit in front of the TV, learn how to palm. We call it palming your shears. So you take your thumb out, now these fingers are available. And I guarantee you there's a YouTube video on how to palm your shears. All right, here we go. I want to take some length off. I'm tired of how long it is. I'm going there. And remember, you could just do a teeny bit. You don't have to do a lot, but I'm tired. I want my hair shorter. And I just put my shears down, showing you not to do that. I'm cutting in my camera, not the easiest thing to do, but again, remember I said it doesn't need to be that accurate. It will be good enough. My white shirt is helping. So hopefully I don't cut my shirt. It's okay if I do. Okay, and there's a little bit of a spot right there, but remember what I said? Not that critical. Okay, now I have a guide for the other side. See it? And remember, we want the interior to be just slightly shorter than the exterior. So I'm not gonna cut like this. I'm gonna cut straight across, but maybe just slightly angled down, so that I try to avoid that little spot that I left last time. And you won't be cutting in a camera, so I promise it'll be a little bit easier. Okay, let's see how it looks. Trying to look in my camera. Hey, not too bad. I got that same spot. Now, remember I told you I had left it like this. It had been at least 6 to 8 months, no big deal. But I'm gonna cut it because I don't like it. I know it's there. You can see it. There it is right there. I'm just gonna step away so I can grab it in the mirror. Coming back. Okay. I think we got it. There might be a little teeny bit right there. That is from my other side. Pull that away. So yeah, you can even see it's not really angling up a lot right there. So I can go ahead and go in a little bit more. So yeah, it's one thing to cut your own hair. It's another to cut your own hair on in a camera. But as you can see, I'm still doing it. But I did need to put that down so I could perk this up a little bit more. Okay. This is all the underneath hair. It's gonna be fine. Let's see if I got it all. Or at least some of it. Let's see, where am I? There I am. Hey, not too bad. Excellent, excellent, good enough, as we call it. Now, if I wanted to, another thing that you could do, and also I'm gonna put my head down because you could really see it. You could also come in here and just grab it. I got that hair, I got that hair, I got that. So this is when I'm being super, I need to get rid of that spot. It's bugging me. I got it. There it is, look at it. Okay. Now, that's my length. Done. The other thing I'd like for you to know is when you're cutting hair, we call this the perimeter, your outside edge. It's everything. If you mess up your perimeter, you mess up your whole haircut. What does that mean? If I go in too deep on the face, I'm gonna end up with a step. If I want layers, as long as I leave out the perimeter, what does that mean? All this is interior. When I lift up this hair, notice, it does nothing to the perimeter. I can still see the shape of my hair. That's what you need to recognize. When you're cutting your hair, you leave the perimeter intact. If you go a little crazy and make a mistake in your layering, it's not gonna show because your perimeter was okay. So, we're going to finish our perimeter and then we're gonna jump to the layering. Here's another choice. That step thing, I saw someone on TV with that. It bugged me. Yes, I see it all the time. Especially I'm in line and I can see it. I'm like, I just want to get in there and cut it. Just meant they didn't have them put their head down. When I do the perimeter, here's where you're gonna, remember what I said about hairstyles? It's just about the shape. This is where it would really change the look of my hair. You can see I don't really have any, I don't have bangs. And my hair is going from here to here. If I wanted it to look more like the broom haircut or that less layered, all one length cut, I would need to take my hair probably more to like here. And it would have that length, that look, sorry. But I want a layered look. I'm not trying to have that straight across, just real simple haircut. I just wanted it shorter. But I'm keeping the same look hairstyle, which is a long layered look. My light just went out. This is what happens when you shoot live. Sorry about that. I want my hairstyle to still be a long layered cut. So I'm not going to bring it up that high. But that's all you would need to do if you wanted that look, is just bring it up higher. Meet these two areas when you want that look. They need to be not so far from one another to be able to have that more straight across look. It can be a long straight across look, and it can be a short straight across look. Either way, these two can't be too far apart. In contrast, which is what I want a more layered look. So that means these pieces need to be shorter to longer in order to have that look, which is what I like when I curl my hair. It gives me a lot of layered look, that those big soft curls, without chopping all my hair off. If I go too crazy back here, I will not have, as much as I would love to have a lot of layers back here, I won't have any hair down here, so I have to be careful. And most people are this. Unless you're that person with thick hair, you cannot have a lot of layers back here. But it's in the front where you can get all your styling and all your layers. Straight down. Remember what I said about hair can't be precise? Because look at how different my hair is on this side. This hair just has a very short hair life. I think I sleep on this side. I have less hair because it's parts to this way, not my choice, in comparison to this hair. It is so much shorter, so much thinner. So I have to take that into consideration by not going too crazy on this side and kind of drawing some of this hair. If I pull this back, I'll end up cutting too much of this hair. And that's why I like hair to be dry and styled when I cut it, because I could see all this. The next thing, we don't cut, when we're cutting down here, we cut straight across. When we're cutting layers, we do not cut straight across. If you cut straight across, it leaves line marks, chop marks in your hair. So I want you to cut at a point. So I'm taking it shorter, yes, but not straight across. Straight across leaves these in your hair, and it makes your hair not blend. So layers makes your hair blend. Blunt leaves your hair with weight. I want weight here, but I want blend here. Okay, now I'm going to take my fingers and put them in the same angle that I want the hair to go. So I'm not going to put my fingers straight across, but then I'm going to cut straight across. They were straight across here because this was the front of my hair, but now I'm going down. So I'm going to angle down. And same thing, I'm not going to cut straight. I'm going to cut nice and pointy. Try to use my white shirt so you could see better. Okay, there's where I left off. And we're going to angle from here to here, but at a point. Voila. Now I'm going to do the other side. And you're probably thinking, Julie, really? That's all I got to do? Yes, this is all you need to do. And you could do this for your daughter too. Now notice I'm bringing the hair out. It's okay to bring the hair out when I'm layering. It won't matter if I'm down here and doing it or up here, because it's a blending issue. You just don't want to be bringing the hair out when you're doing the perimeter and the bottom. Keep your hands against your back, against your side, whatever it is that you're doing when you're talking about the perimeter. But in layering, no. Okay, so remember I have less hair on this side, so just gonna steal my mirror again. Okay, So when I look in the mirror now, this side just looks a little bit too long for right there. This is where I said hair should not be precision. I'm just gonna make it look more accurate, but it isn't more accurate. Okay, that looks a little better now. Maybe just a smidge more blending right there. You see that? That's all I needed to do. All right, here we go for some layering. And I know you're thinking it's a lot of work. I swear it's not. Take your fingers or your comb this donut out. Because that's another thing. You might think my hair's not really layered back here, but if you look how short this hair is right here, it's equally as short right here. See that? Oh, actually, that part's a little bit longer. I forgot we cut my hair. Well, it was before I cut it, okay? Because I'm gonna blend from the front to the back. Let me make sure I keep my head down here enough. And again, you're gonna be able to see where I cut my hair before. Look at it right there, you could see it. Okay, now as long as I do not have my perimeter, I am not gonna mess up this hair. And I can keep bringing up this hair and bringing it up to take it out, and eventually, look what happens. Eventually, it's too short and doesn't fit. So it will not get cut and you won't have to worry about it. As long as you keep your hand up here. I call it, oops, your angle. Turn my head. You're gonna be cutting straight out from the head. Not this way, not this way. From wherever the hair grows, you're gonna cut straight out from the head. Always leaving the perimeter out. And again, take up as much or as little hair you feel comfortable with. You don't have to do it all at once. This is way too much hair for even me. Remember, I have to be super careful on this side with my side that doesn't have a lot of hair. I'm gonna do it in the mirror first and then I'll show you. Okay. Here is my cutting point. But again, remember, we're not gonna go straight across. We're gonna cut at a point. You can even, the way I actually cut my hair, and believe it or not, I'm gonna show you guys because I keep trying to tell people you can do as much as you feel comfortable with. So this is the easiest way for me to show you not to cut straight across, but you can also get in here and we call it point cut. And this is the way I really like to cut my hair off because it takes it off so jaggedy. Okay, so now I gotta pick up some more, but not my perimeter. Again, precision does not matter. I'm gonna come back up. I'm gonna find that piece, it's right there. This all needs to be blended. Now I'm gonna come back over to this side. Believe it or not, I'm almost done. Look in my mirror to find my spot. Oh, there we go. Well, this is cool because you can even see that's where I cut and I need to take that corner off and that corner off. Nice and jaggedy. See how you don't see chop marks? As long as you don't cut straight across, you will not see chop marks. The other thing that I like to do, because remember, if you think about quantity, we have ears here. That's why we don't have as much quantity here. But back here, our hair is growing all the way back here. So it's this area of our head that has the most amount of hair. And if you're a thick-haired person, it's down here that drives you the most crazy. So if I was a thick-haired person, I would bring, remember how I made you come way up here? Oh, and cool, because you can see a spot where I missed. That's the spot I missed. Take that little spot off. If I were a thick-haired person, you need to come down lower. See that big tail right there? You would want to take that off because it's going to thin out your bottom layer. So of course I'm not going to do that because I don't want to thin out my bottom layer. But that's the only difference between me and you. I, when I layer, have to only go from here. Just dip down here. You, if you have thick hair, you're going to do here, here, and maybe even here. But no matter what, you leave this perimeter out. It's intact. You get some weight taken out of here. No, it is not precision, but it is enough. And see, even right here, I'm seeing how I took this piece off, but it's not really blending well right here. I can fix it. So when you see that, pick it up till you find it where it's not blending. I got to take out my perimeter. Remember, I just told you, leave your perimeter alone. So I don't know if you guys could see that where it wasn't blending, but it's right here now that I pick it up. There's just too much weight there. And so it was making this short piece. It was making this short, oh, there we go. Use my white wall. Okay. It was making this short piece stand out because there's too much weight here. So I shouldn't take it off. No, just reduce the amount of weight, the quantity, the density that's in there so that it will blend. See that? I don't see it on the other side. Well, I didn't cut as much on this side because I just can't. Okay? As long as you are taking your hair and not cutting blunt lines in your layers, you can easily reduce the weight and give yourself a nice trim. Oh, here's another thing. Remember I told you I took off a bunch. I took off almost 3 inches. So as I was cutting, I was taking, you don't need to cut that much, especially if you just joined me. You can do just the littlest, teeniest bit. A trim doesn't need to be like this, especially hairstylists love to chop off people's hair. You know, that can be enough for people. Same with your layers. I did a bunch on my layers, but remember, you don't have to. You can just do a little bit on your layers. See, I'll even find, when I get done, I'll go through here and find my little spots that I left off. But you could even just trim just a smidge. Especially if you're a little bit nervous about doing this yourself, start out doing just a little bit. If you're cutting your own hair, you could do it 3 or 4 times if you want. Less is more. Today I cut a lot off because I was tired. It's gotten way too long. And I think even wintertime, I'm going to do the broom cut. So come back wintertime. Maybe I'll do a broom cut. All right. So now you could see I'm blended. Is it precise? No, it's not. It doesn't need to be. It just needs to look right, okay? Style the hair in the way that you wear it. Palm your shears so that you can hold on at the same time. If you're cutting your daughter's hair or someone else's hair, the most important thing, chin down so that you don't end up with a step back here. And if you're cutting your own hair, perimeter. Keep your perimeter intact. Everything else will not matter. I promise you, you can cut your own hair. If you have any problems, any questions, you know you can reach out to me. You guys are great. The only reason why I'm even still on here is because of all your comments and emails. Thank you so much. This is Julie the Hairapist. You don't need a license to cut hair. You need a license to charge. Hair is extremely scientific. When it comes to cutting and coloring, you meet the science and you're going to be happy. Bangs, exact same thing, by the way, for bangs. You're just going to, if you don't want them to be straight across, don't cut straight across. If you want them to be jagged, cut on a point. Do not, if you're going to do bangs, do not drag your hair in an unnatural way. If you drag a bunch of hair back and cut straight across, those bangs are going to end up being over here in a step. You can only cut what is natural. Great tip on keeping, oh, thank you. The perimeter, yeah, the perimeter is everything. I promise you, if you don't mess up your perimeter, you will not mess up your haircut. The reason why you don't want to drag a bunch of unnatural hair forward for your bangs is they're not going to stay there. And for instance, I don't ever cut bangs. Guess why? Because mine have a split. So it doesn't matter if I blow dry this, if I iron this hair, my bangs will split right there. And it just bugs me. I never can have the straight across bangs. But I was able to have those long ones that everybody was wearing for a while. So remember, it's got to be according to what your hair can do and can't do, okay? Thanks for watching Julie the Hairapist and putting up with all my amateur videos. You know I had to go live because I hate to edit. Have a fabulous Labor Day.